Hey, greetings, everyone. Thank you, Adam. First and foremost, thank the good folks at NOCoE, Kevin Vita, Adam Hops, for sponsoring this, pulling this all together for us each month, and all the work that you all do. And on behalf of my colleagues, Jim Austrich and Paul Jodoin, I want to thank you all, you all, the attendees, for taking time to tune in to Talking Tim. If you're new here, we do this once a month, and please feel free to join us and maybe be a future presenter with something that you have going on in your world. And we've made a lot of progress in advancing traffic incident management. And there are some really cool things on the horizon that will be rolling out soon, and I'm sure you all appreciate and utilize. So today's webinar, we have everything from data to a look at a full-blown TIM program and also a moving presentation with struck by awareness and move over, slow down laws, and all three of them have everything to do with each other. So we'll have some TIM data use and visualization. We'll have let me see if I can advance this for you. There you go. So I don't have to just keep on reading it. So you can see that Katie Felton from VDOT will talk to us a little bit soon about TIM data. And Linda Unruh is here to talk about promoting roadway safety through move-over laws, and has a very, very personal connection to that. And we have the New Jersey TIM program. Robert Burd is going to give us a look at what they're doing and how they do that. It's three speakers that will all tie this together in executing a good TIM program. So, with that, take a look at what's coming next month. June 22nd, we'll have Ohio DOT here to talk about their quick clearance and demonstrations. And I've actually seen this presentation, and it's outstanding. Don't miss it. I'm going to have some guy named Joe Tebo here to talk a little bit about the electric vehicle battery fires and how they affect the TIM timeline. And it's a learning experience for all of us. And Montana's TIM program, Jerry Pratt, he'll be here to talk to us about the program and what they do out there, and from mostly a rural viewpoint. So with that said, that's what we have to look forward to. Please join us. Next month, every month, we have Talking Tim. Paul Jodoin, one of my colleagues, along with Jim Austrich. Paul can't make it today. He's actually in another presentation at the same time, but he asked me to wish you all well, and thanks for being here. So at this point, Jim, I think I'm going to turn it over to Jim Austrich, my dear colleague, and he'll bring you up to speed on some FHWA stuff.
Thanks, Joe. Well said, and greetings to everyone for sure. I must, right now we have 101 on this one's Talking Tim, and Paul, Joe, and myself, we're always encouraging you to spread the wealth, let others within your circle and even outside your circle know about Talking Tim webinars that occur every month on the fourth Wednesday of every month. So as far as Crash Responder Safety Week, which is about 7 months away, there's the official date, the second week in November. If you're not familiar with CRSW, we encourage you to go to the website. Just Google it, CRSW, FHWA. letting you know that this year's primary theme is Respect Your Roadside Heroes. Our team, along with our contractors, we've already engaged the states through a series. This year will only be 3, but we just had one, all-state webinars, as you can see there. And we've also engaged our national committee for CRSW to discuss the strategies and, for public education and outreach, and just a whole plethora of ideas and work, basically, that will lead us right up to that week, and really hopefully try to make a big impact informing the public for sure. And it goes without being said, the education part, as far as, and by the way, you see the 3 dates. I didn't, I said three all-states planning calls. We already did May 1st, July 13th, the next set is September 14th. The different topics, whether it's, like Joe said, responder struck by move over laws, and all the other different activities that you within your state plan for, is so important. And one of the biggies that we're really pushing and promoting is, of course, a TIM proclamation. Last year we had 12, and this year we're looking to double it. So you're on notice. If you're in a state that didn't institute one last year, well, this is your chance, and start early, because it's really so important. We're really trying to engage the governors of every state, regardless of elections, et cetera. And anyway, the webinar, you can see the national webinar, virtual webinar, is slated for November 14th. Next, well, I covered most of this on the first slide, but we are really on a roll here, and we're really looking to get all 50 states. Bottom line is all 50 states to attend the all-states webinars, and I just said double the number of states that have developed proclamations, and we're really looking for you and your communications officers, by the way, public information officers, anyone within your public affairs that you deem important, please invite them. And the CRSW webinars are also hosted right here at the NOCoE, Adam Hop's team and Kevin. So they do a wonderful job, and please join us. The training, I always touch on the training, Paul, Joe, and I. This is our cornerstone program. You can see there 584,000 over total trained, and boy, is that amazing. We're almost at 600,000, and I don't plan to retire until we hit the million-plus mark. So you're stuck with me for a little while longer. We're hoping that with all the work that Joe mentioned, that we have so much going on with research and other projects and data, et cetera, we're really looking to, and with the COVID hopefully ending pandemic, in-person classes are on the rise, as well as the continued use of web-based training, whether it's at the National Highway Institute or the Emergency Responder Safety Institute. The TIM certificate that's there. Both are free, by the way. So the sad news, ladies and gentlemen, 23 fatalities since January 1st. You can see the breakdown here. and in the past 2 days, I've learned that there's actually 2 more that once everything is verified, et cetera, will be added to this statistic here. So we're really at 25, 1 more law enforcement officer and 1 more tower. So, so sad. I can't, I don't want to get emotional, but this, I lose sleep over this, and so should you. So one of our lowest hanging fruits, folks, is the TIM training. And Paul, Joe, and I, we can't emphasize that enough. So the numbers are really tracking up, and there doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel. We were usually around 40 or less. Now we're tracking near this, the low 60 range for the past year. So I have to share that with you. Anyway, here's a snapshot of the train-the-trainers. The reason I included this one, I don't always include all the maps from the National TIM Training Status Report and maps, but I showed the train-the-trainer because there are now a number of states that are going to be standing up their, state-led train-the-trainer sessions. Federal Highway TIM program, our office, Paul, Joe, and I will support as best we can, but just know that you and your state can do the same. You just got to pick a date and a venue and pick who your best trainers are to lead a train-the-trainer so that you can expand your bench of trainers to continue training responders throughout your state. So please let us know. And it's possible we're going to be actually sponsoring some Federal Highway train-the-trainers in the not-too-distant future. This map is the map of the responder populations trained, both in person and web-based, as you can see at the bottom. This is the total trained by state. Not sure if you're all tracking this, but yeah, it's still so important. There are some, we're concerned because of the struck bys, obviously, and line of duty deaths and injury numbers that we really don't have a good handle on. We need to promote the training. It's like I said, one of the only, low-hanging fruit that we can, fight against being killed out on the roadway while in the course of your duties as a responder, whatever discipline you are. So please keep training. This is the SIP map, Strategic Implementation Plan map, the goal to train 55% or more. You can see the key down here to the right. 29 states have actually trained above 45%, and you can see that 22 states have exceeded the 55%. Some states aren't doing as well as they should be, but we will never stop pushing the envelope. It's just super important, along with everything else you're doing, right? Here's the bar chart by discipline. The darker section, obviously, are the numbers that have been trained. Here's the progress since the last report, obviously, and as Paul said last time, we want to see this change. So in your sphere of influence, what are you doing to change this so that it's not always the top 10 that you see there, starting with Texas all the way down? And when you go to the table on the right, it really gets sad. It makes me sad. So just speaking from the heart, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the top 10 again, close snapshot. And with that, Here's our contact info. Any suggestions, comments you have, good or bad, we're here to listen to you. But obviously, we want to make progress, and we certainly want to eliminate these struck-bys, deaths, and injuries. And I know we can do it. I know we can do it. So with that, I'd like to introduce, let's see, let me go to, do I have it here, Adam, or Kevin, do you guys need to switch over to Katie?
Katie's on first, I believe.
Yeah, I was looking for her slide. Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see right here, Katie Felton from VDOT. She's a traffic operations engineer, and she's going to share some amazing information on using traffic incident management data. Katie, it's all yours.
Thank you. You can hear me?
10-4.
Good. Hey, everyone. I am Katie from the Virginia Department of Transportation's Operations Division, and I work on performance measures and data analytics for the Traffic Operations Program. And today I'm going to talk about how Virginia uses some of the TIM data that we collect. Virginia collects traffic incident data at 5 regional operation centers around the state. Incidents are detected by a variety of sources, and operators key in the incident details into a Central Advanced Transportation Management System, or ATMS. In addition to traffic incidents, operators are reporting road impacts due to weather and work zones. Incident data is reported statewide. However, most of the data that we have is on the interstate system. The operators are collecting all kinds of details when an incident is reported, and I grouped some of the details into 2 boxes here to highlight a lot of the fields that we use regularly for performance reporting. The left box is showing some of the details which are collected and we use most frequently. These include the type of incident, important times like start and end, the lane clear time, and the scene clear time, and other details about the severity, for example. And then the right box shows the incident response data, which is collected for each incident record. And this includes who comes to the scene for incident response, when they're notified, when they arrive, and when they leave. And this is really just a small snapshot of all the data that's collected. The operators are collecting a ton of data whenever they're getting information about an incident. So one of the primary uses for the TIM data VDOT is collecting is for the performance measures. And this really feeds into all the other uses that I'll be outlining in the following slides. The first performance measure is what we call the scene clearance time, which we measure for all crash and disabled vehicle incidents from the time the incident is verified to the time all lanes and shoulders are open and the scene is clear. And here's some graphics showing some trend charts from our recent reports. The second measure that we use is called the roadway clearance time, and this is measured for all lane impacting incidents, crash and disabled vehicle incidents, from the time the incident is verified to the time that all lanes are clear and open to traffic. And this is the incident management measure that we focus on the most at VDOT. The last measure I wanted to talk about in detail that we use the TIM data for is in estimating the amount of congestion due to incidents. We have an algorithm that we developed to estimate the causes of congestion on our interstates, which you can see in the pie chart here, and we use the traffic incident data as one of the inputs. We match the time and location of the lane impacting incidents with the amount of vehicle hours of delay that occurs to estimate the impact of the incident. So the first application for all of this performance data is our regular reporting. The primary audience for our monthly and quarterly reports are executive leadership and regional leadership in the field. And we break down all the data by VDOT district so leadership can track their performance relative to other parts of the state. The reports include performance measures such as roadway clearance time and scene clearance time. We also have an annual report which is available to the public, and I linked it here. If you get a copy of the slides, you'll be able to view that. There's also traffic incident management performance measures which appear on VDOT's public-facing performance dashboard. There are 2 incident management related measures which appear on this dashboard if you were to click the dial here that I circled. It would bring you to this page. The 2 measures here that we're tracking on the public dashboard are the % of lane impacting incidents cleared in less than 30 minutes and less than 90 minutes. And for these measures, we have developed some district-specific targets which are displayed on the dashboard. So beyond just reports and dashboards, we use the TIM data frequently for project and program evaluations. The first example I'll outline is our safety service patrol routes. Over the past few years, we've used TIM data to explore opportunities for SSP expansion, and after implementing, we'll evaluate the improved performance of the new route. So the charts that I'm showing here are from a 2020 analysis after VDOT implemented some changes to the SSP routes on I-81. To measure the benefit, we looked at the number and the % of incidents SSP were able to respond to, and the average time it took SSP to get to the scene when they were dispatched. The evaluation of the I-81 routes showed a 4-minute improvement in response time and an 11% increase in the % of incidents that SSP were able to respond to. In addition, the pie charts showed the increase in detection and verification by safety service patrollers. Another program which we have used TIM data to evaluate is the Towing, Recovery, and Incentive Program, which focuses on the quick response and clearance of commercial vehicle incidents. We track the average roadway clearance time of these incidents as well as the average time it takes towers to arrive on scene to demonstrate the effectiveness of this program. The charts are from an 8-month analysis of the new program on I-81, where clearance of the tractor-trailer incidents has been trending down over the past few years and is at an all-time low with the new program in place. A few years ago when TRIP began in VDOT's central region, our research council did a full evaluation of the pilot, and TIM data was essential in that study, and I included a link to that as well. I've listed a few other projects which we have been asked for TIM data and incident performance measures in the past. Typically, we'll use the data to do a baseline analysis before a project begins, or a historical before and after analysis to evaluate the impact of the project or program on traffic incident management after it's been implemented. A few years ago, Virginia began some large-scale studies of our interstate corridors. We began with the I-81 corridor in the western part of the state and then moved to the other interstate corridors. The corridor studies were a comprehensive look at safety and operations using a data-driven approach. And TIM data was used in several of the performance measures, including the person-hours of delay due to incidents and the number of lane-impacting incidents per mile. The various performance measures were used to identify locations in the top 20% of each measure, which were then considered focus areas for potential improvements. The improvements included both capital projects like ramp redesigns and operations projects like new cameras, message signs, detour planning, and incident management programs. And there's a link to that corridor improvement plan as well. We've been able to do a lot of great things with the TIM data, but we definitely still have some challenges. One big challenge is the data coverage. We have really good TIM data on our interstate system, but in Virginia, the data is pretty sparse on the non-interstates. A big reason for this is the incident detection and verification. Safety Service Patrol and Virginia State Police detect more than 85% of our incidents statewide, and SSP in particular is almost exclusively on the interstate system of Virginia. We are limited in the analysis we can do for projects and programs that are not on the interstate. Data consistency can also provide some challenges. While there are standard statewide operating procedures, the data is still being entered by operators at 5 different operation centers. So naturally there is variation in which and that can come through in the data. One example of a procedural difference I've observed is the way an incident off the travel lanes may be handled. In some of our operation centers, if the incident is moved from the travel lanes to the shoulder and the plan is to return during off-peak hours to clear the scene, the operators will close the incident and create a new planned event to track the cleanup at a later time. But at other operation centers, they will keep the incident record open until the scene is cleared at a later time. And this kind of difference will have a big impact on the scene clearance time calculations between the two regions. Along similar lines, there's constraints of the data system which can be challenging. A lot of these data systems were not necessarily designed to be querying data and doing the calculations we're trying to do. I found that there are a lot of little quirks in the system which can cause some unexpected results. The best example of this in Virginia's system is this all lane clear checkbox, which the operators use to report that all lanes are clear. But the problem is the system doesn't prevent the user from clicking this box if the incident is on the shoulder, meaning that incidents which are not even lane impacting can still have clearance times in the data. Once this was identified, we had to find a workaround to be able to accurately report our performance measures. And the last one is not really a challenge, but more of an opportunity. But once you start introducing more and more uses for the incident performance data, there seems to be an endless appetite out there for more. So it's really an opportunity to explore what questions are possible to answer with all the data that we're collecting. And that's all I have for today, and I've included some contact info on the slides, and I'll look for questions in the chat. Thanks.
Katie, thank you very much. Excellent presentation, information, and boy, I can't stress enough. We are in a quest at Federal Highway Office of Operations, TIM program, Paul, Joe, and I, all looking for to increase the number of states that are capturing TIM data, especially the performance measures of roadway clearance time, incident clearance time, secondary crashes, and road, or rather responder struck bys. All this is extremely important. There just isn't enough states that are capturing it, and certainly even less using the data to quantify, if you will, and qualify, but quantify the benefits, et cetera, et cetera. So we encourage you to keep typing in the chat pod questions that you may have, and we will field them here a little bit later. So next up is Linda Unruh. Linda is from the great state of New Mexico, and as Joe alluded to earlier, she is doing some great work in the move over law, slow down world, working with insurance companies and Total Recovery Association of America, and she's also has a personal connection, but I won't steal any of her thunder because Linda is a dear friend of mine and our program, I dare say, and we always welcome Linda. So
thank you for your time today and for allowing me to share a topic with you that is not only very close to my heart, but has a profound impact on my and many other lives every single day. I currently serve on the TRA Towing Safety Consortium and the TRA Executive Cabinet in collaboration with the TRA and other organizations. We are also working to prioritize federal legislative measures that promote and advocate for establishing federal move-over law provisions. I wanted to share that Congressman Jim McGovern has submitted on April 11th of this year the resolution, House Resolution 1052, which was referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. And that's a big step when we deal with legislation. TRA has accomplished many strides forward, including promotions of Protecting Roadside First Responders Act, whose provisions address transportation matters relating to move-over laws and crash avoidance technology, as well as acting as the U.S. Government Accountability Office to towing industry representative on the Emergency Responder Safety Report, a report which is critical step towards accomplishing one of TRA's primary goals, the passing of federal move-over law provisions. Next slide. First, allow me to share with you why this legislation is absolutely vital to me. In 2017, my son Bobby was struck and killed by a semi-truck, hitting him at 84 miles an hour. This semi failed to slow down, failed to move over while working as a tow operator responding to a roadway incident. Bobby was my only son. He was a father of three beautiful children. He was a brother, an overwhelming, amazing man and friend. Bobby's death impacted our community in a profound way. However, Bobby's death altered my life in an irrevocable way. The day Bobby was killed, I joined the unenviable ranks of parents who have lost a child, the unenviable number of families torn apart by tragedy. Bobby didn't have to die that day. The need to make sense of this death and the need to ensure their families are not impacted by this grief is what brings me here today, to relive the pain, the horror of that day all over again with you. The drive to ensure our first responders, our roadway warriors, our fathers, our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, our sons, and our daughters are no longer sacrificed to avoid avoidable and senseless tragedies. I continue to share his story. It's extremely impactful to let other people know that it can happen to you, it can happen to your families. And I'm voicing that in a way that I believe in my heart that if everybody joins together and unites to be a voice of slow down, move over, and get the word out, we can manage to have less or none tragedies like my son's. Slide 3. Currently, all 50 states recognize the Move Over law, but awareness and adherence to these laws are still dangerously low. There's a startling data from AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety finds that among drivers who do not comply with Move Over laws at all times, 42% thought this behavior was somewhat or not dangerous at all to roadside emergency workers. This demonstrates that drivers may not realize how risky it is for those working or stranded along highways and roads close to moving traffic. An average of 24 emergency responders, including tow providers, are struck and killed by vehicles while working at the roadside each year, meaning someone in this line of work is killed on average every other week. Nearly a quarter of those surveyed, 23%, are unaware of the Move Over law in the states where they live. And among those who are aware of their state's Move Over laws, about 15% report not understanding the potential consequences for violating the Move Over law at all. Since my son's death, which has been about 5 years, I've joined different places, different doors that have opened for me, and I joined AAA on a traveling show that joined the national headquarters and share different states with their employees of Bobby's message and his story and the importance of slow down, move over. And also where I can open doors to share TIM training. I think that in our line of work, TIM training is going to save lives. And I will fight that fight until we have no loss, zero loss. I also participated in a case study involving multiple universities that reenacted my son's accident based on a reconstruction team report. And they continue to put the information together, and it'll be interesting to know what they come up with that. I was also was asked by CNBC to share a public service announcement on Slow Down, Move Over, referring the message to my son Bobby's accident, and that was on a national level. I now currently work with Allstate, and I do a safety checkpoint that I share with them on training and to train operators in a safer manner, and also include TIM training to be able to put that in place. I also share articles on women in business and share the knowledge on how to be successful as a female in the towing industry. And I believe that we've had a lot of women in our industry throughout the years, but they're kind of a quiet voice. And now I believe that they're out there making a difference for this industry. There's a lot of times that they're at the core of the company. And I'm happy to say that the voice of the women, especially for me, because when I started there was very few, and I've always shared to be a voice in the industry, even though it was a man's world at the time. But I can share with you that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't the men and women that have united in my world to make me who I am today. I also wanted to share, I did the Colorado Traffic Management and TIM training, and I did a presentation, was a keynote speaker on Bobby's Law also. So the next, there's a great deal more that I can share, but those were the key ones for me. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is the stats on the names. I believe that this is very powerful. That's way more names than we need to have listed. There's it can be an unfortunate side effect of seeing these stats laid out for us year over year, that eventually these men and women simply become another number, but to their families, to their communities, to those who love them, they're just not another data point. They were the loved ones' wife, someone's single parent, someone's only child, someone's best friend, someone's everything. So I believe that all of you that are listening to me, we can absolutely become ambassadors to strive to do better for them, to push for the better safety of our roadways, for our responders. As for my son, all I can say is that I'll continue to share his message, his story, and hopefully that you that are listening out there can join me to make that difference and be the voice and to unite as a nation to make a difference because all of us can make that change. We just have to voice it in every aspect of our lives. Because at the time when I started towing, I remember that it was courtesy to slow down, to move over. And we didn't have this problem. So the distracted driving is a big issue. And again, let's become ambassadors to make that difference and continue to fight for TIM training in our industry. Because the education of TIM training is going to save lives. Thank you again for your time today, and God bless you all.
God bless you too, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you.
As always, yes, Linda, you always hit home, Linda, and we thank you for all your advocacy and all the work that you're doing across the nation and the TRAA and all the other on recovery professionals, etc. So
thank you, Jim.
next, yes, thank you, Linda. Next up, we have, I believe it's Robert Burd, spelled B-U-R-D, from the great state of New Jersey. Robert is the program manager there, and he's going to share all the exciting work that New Jersey is doing in traffic incident management. So welcome, Robert, and it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Good afternoon. My name is Robert Burd. I'm the manager of New Jersey Department of Transportation's Office of Emergency Management, Security, and Response. I'm also the program manager for our traffic incident management program. I'm going to give you an overview of our program here in New Jersey, how we organize, who are the partners in the program, and the activities we pursue here in New Jersey. In front of you is our high-speed, low-drag TIM logo for New Jersey with the motto of safety, efficiency, and collaboration. I hope you'll be able to recognize how each part of our program focuses on that paradigm of safety, efficiency, and collaboration. So this is what we're all up against. The D drivers, all of us, not just in New Jersey. And yes, I had to throw in a picture of a New Jersey icon just to represent, that is Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos, for those who know the series. So how we function in New Jersey, we're focused on what we call our strategy. We have a guiding document, which is our Traffic Incident Management Strategic Plan. The original document was created in 2015. We've updated it in 2019, and we're currently in the process of updating it now. We'll be rolling out our draft update at our biannual partners meeting, which is tomorrow. The document identifies our program objectives, the methodology, our stakeholders, and our current initiatives. It also outlines our action plan as that relates to the National Unified Goal. Our partners. So we have a wide range of partners from the federal level to the municipal level and a few in between. Now I know this is an eye chart, so I'll just mention a few partners from the different categories. Our main federal agency partner obviously is FHWA, of course. Additionally, we have partnerships with federally designated metropolitan planning organizations, such as the Delaware River Planning Commission and the New Jersey Transportation Planning Authority. We have many state-level partners, such as the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Division of Fire Safety, the Department of Health, the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, South Jersey Transportation Authority, and our key partner, the New Jersey State Police. We have some multi-jurisdictional partnerships, like with the two port authorities in New Jersey, the Bay Authority, and some others. We also have a number of associations such as the Garden State Towing Association and an academic partner in the New Jersey Institute of Technology. So this is how we organize. Each working group is aligned to the action plan in the New Jersey strategy, which is aligned with the National Unified Goals strategies. The steering committee obviously guides the overall work of the program. The task force working group promotes the interdisciplinary coordination and the collaboration at the tactical level with the responders on the roadway. The training working group promotes the advancement of our training program. The CAT integration working group works to promote the advancement of our collaboration on computer-aided dispatch with the New Jersey State Police. The towing roadside services working group promotes the TIM program to our towing community and represents their concerns. The communications working group, which we will be retiring to what we're calling a new subject matter expert designation with the new strategy update. They completed a statewide interoperable communications plan, which allows responders from state to local to towers to have access to certain radio channels on the state network, which are focused on highway incidents. And lastly, our media outreach working group promotes the TIM program through an awareness campaign, social media outlets, and public service messaging. So these are the initiatives, or the major initiatives in our strategy. I'll touch on each one independently as we go through them. Our Move Over Law Awareness Campaign. So this campaign brings awareness to the New Jersey Statute 39-492.2, which is signed into law in 2009. Our campaign was launched last June by our commissioner and the superintendent of the state police. The centerpiece is the slow down, move over sign you can see in the middle of the slide, designed by our steering committee. The team created bumper stickers with the goal of placing them on every responder vehicle. We've actually moved on to distributing them at different events so that we've moved on just beyond the responder vehicles only. Posters were created, as you can see, a number of which were placed in quick check convenience stores throughout the state. Also on the slide, you can see a campaign message on a screen at a New Jersey Turnpike Authority rest area. On the bottom right are some social media posts sent out by New Jersey DOT and the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. And yes, those are keychains. We give them away at events and conferences. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those could make a hot pair of earrings for the next Towman's Ball, but unfortunately we only offer them an MUTCD coral. So, of course, my partner in crime over here, Liz Falcon, upon hearing this, will run out and have a pair of gold plated so this way she could prove me wrong. Moving into our National Crash Responder Safety Week, this is kind of also collaborated with our Move Over Awareness campaign. So just like a number of other states have done, we were able to coordinate with the governor's office to issue a proclamation. As I said, this is another initiative we had coordinated with our awareness effort. Another initiative is the development of a traffic incident management safety guideline for emergency responders. This initially grew from one of our task forces, the Southern Area First Responders, or SAFER. It provides uniform operational guidance to promote safe operations by emergency responders. The document was formulated based on recognized practices and procedures and is endorsed by the New Jersey Office of the Attorney General. It also follows the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. These guidelines, they identify like vehicle positioning, common general safety, and on-site practices for all responders. Additionally, it promotes maximum protection and safety for all responders operating at limited access highway incidents. The guidelines also identify the need to provide mobility for the motoring public. So they emphasize to emergency responders that the objectives are to get onto the roadway, perform their duties, and get off the roadway safely, efficiently, and as quickly as possible. So as a number of other states, we have service patrols, and they're part of our TIM program. They are day-to-day unsung heroes who are likely to be first on the scene of an incident. They're an important part of providing safety on the roadway, and here you see our New Jersey DOT Safety Service Patrol on the left and our South New Jersey Transportation Authority Emergency Service Patrol on the right. So another initiative in our strategy is partnerships developed throughout the program. A component of that is our relationship with the statewide Traffic Incident Management Center. It's a 24-hour joint operations center that many states have. Ours is staffed by New Jersey DOT, the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, and the New Jersey State Police. Additionally, we have a central dispatch unit. This is an NJDOT unit that is the single point of contact for emergency calls. They're co-located with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and New Jersey State Police dispatchers. So another layer to our partnership is the incident management task forces. So we have 5 currently, one's in development, and the Atlantic County Task Force was developed by the county, and we're working to coordinate with them. The task forces get together some monthly to discuss standards of response, review case studies of incidents, and further the coordination among the state and local partners within the geographical area. You can see on the map here that we're pretty close to having every major region of the state covered. So this is a key initiative and a core component to our program, our Incident Management Response Team. This is made up of 2 partner agencies, specifically the New Jersey Department of Transportation and the New Jersey State Police. So the State Police have a dedicated unit to the Traffic Incident Management Program, and it's arranged through funding through an agreement that we have with FHWA. The Incident Management Unit, or IMU as they're called, provides roadway response coordination and helps to advance the program through outreach and participate in the steering committee. They actively participate in the training program as instructors for multidisciplinary experience. All are senior troopers with years of road experience. The other part is NJDOT employees. We have some who are full-time members of our OEMSR unit and the Safety Service Patrol, some who are area supervisors, and a few volunteers who are engineers. We're working our way to having all our new area supervisors as they are promoted included in the program as part of their regular duties. Just for reference, for your reference, an area supervisor for us is like somebody who oversees a maintenance operations section in a geographic area about the size of a county. This team is a key response element to the program. So another component of our partnership is the inclusion of TIM training and department training curriculum. So these agencies that you see here, and some of them are DOT with some sections, they have mandatory requirements for TIM training. The New Jersey State Police have it in their academy curriculum, as well as their in-service curriculum for those troopers that may have already graduated from the academy. So they're basically trying to catch everybody within the force. Additionally, any towers on the New Jersey DOT contract must complete the TIM training as part of the contract requirement. So this is our njtim.org website. Here you can learn about the TIM program and its benefits for responders. There's a page here for resources such as our important documents and links, a media gallery, and even a page for frequently asked questions. We have a number of videos promoting training and capacity building initiatives. This is where an agency can go to request a training class for their organization or can see where training is already scheduled. It allows our trainers to see where there might be a need for additional trainers, such as a vacancy in a class or an opportunity. If they happen to be in that space, they can assist, to continue to promote that multidisciplinary aspect. It also houses our diversion routes in an initiative to move them to an electronic platform from their previous paper platform. So our training component, we have a little over 22,000 people trained with just over 400 multidisciplinary instructors qualified. Some of the new training elements we're working on is self-guided online training, training specifically designed for media outlets who may respond to significant incidents, and specific training for dispatchers. And finally, our diversion route initiative. I know this is a little bit challenging to see, but this is probably the best one I could, best snapshot we could come up with. We tried to manipulate to see if we could get a link, a live link, but that wasn't working very well. But you yourself can go to njtim.org, check it out yourself. We previously had our diversion routes organized, well, actually not previously, they're still organized by county in a sense, but they were in large binders that our crews and responders had to carry around in their vehicles. So shortly, all diversion routes will be updated and placed on the NewJerseyTim.org website. They'll be interactive. This will allow us to lighten the load of our responders as they can access the plans via their mobile devices. It also allows local level responders who might not be part of the initiative to reference the plans as well. That's all I have for you today as a general overview of our program here in New Jersey. Thank you all for allowing us to come talk to you a little bit about our part of the world and how we pursue our TIM goals. My contact information and our statewide response coordinator, Liz Falcon, her information is here as well if you want to contact us for anything that we produce, to include a keychain or two for those who want a nice pair of earrings.
Very good, Robert. As always, New Jersey doing great things, leading state, and NOCoE and the whole team, great friends of the National TIM program, and like I said, doing great things. So we have, wow, almost a whole half hour for Q&A. I've seen some of the interactions in the chat pod. But first, I noticed that our colleague, Paul Jodoin, was on. Paul, are you still there? Paul may have stepped away, but I saw him a little while ago. No, he's still there. Paul, you there? I see his name. Well, while Paul joins us again, hit *6. Try *6, Paul. Unmute. I don't know if that'll work, or Kevin is. Can you unmute Paul by chance?
Tried. Hello.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Am I here now?
You're on, brother.
Oh my God, I wasn't planning on this. I've been on since about I don't know, 2 o'clock or so, when the conflict that the three of us had was over. But all three great presentations. I only heard half of the data, the Virginia data, but I really appreciate more than anything is hearing from everybody, everything in the chat pod, and the discussions back and forth, and the passion that we see in those chat pods. But no, Jim, I don't have really anything else to add. Again, I appreciate everyone's input today, and keep those that passion going in that chat pod.
Yeah, if you think of anything, just let us know. So I need everyone's help here. Joe and others, did we miss any questions? The only one that I saw earlier, did someone answer Joanne Blyton's question about slow down, move over day not being held during CRSW?
I think you're the best one to answer that one, brother.
Well, I would, but I didn't.
There's discussion on it.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if it was AAA. Who's actually the owner of it, Joe? Do you know? Is it AAA? Because I don't know. I don't think it's NHTSA that owns it, but it's been around since 2017, I think, before we even stood up CRSW or NTIRAW before that. But it happens every October, right? October 17th. I don't really know. It's a good question, Joanne. We might be able to ask it, but I'm of the opinion that we should be promoting, especially now, and I think it's going to come to this, ladies and gentlemen, that with all the work that you're doing, and certainly all the work that Paul, Joe, and I are doing, in the area of research and move over, slow down, responder struck by, and all the rest of it, the horrendous rise in these line of duty deaths, etc. I think we're going to get to a point where there's a hell of a lot more education. I think Linda Unruh touched on the motorist or citizens' lack of knowledge of what their state move-over laws are. I think that's going to come to a head here soon. At least I hope and pray so, because there just isn't enough attention being, brought to that. And I'll follow that comment with the enforcement piece. I'm not sure who mentioned that earlier as well, but the compliance or non-compliance of move over, slow down laws, of course that falls to the police, to law enforcement to do that, but we have been having discussions, our office with NHTSA and so on, and I just think it's going to come to that point. The slide that Robert shared early on, and he was dead on about the D drivers that are killing our responders. We have to do something. We have to do something because things are not getting better; they're getting worse. And I'll say this once: don't anybody report me, but I think we need to start locking people up, because these little minor fines and penalties, they don't work. They don't work. But if you're a drunk motorist or a drug motorist or a drowsy motorist and you strike and kill a responder, there should be a much stiffer penalties to include jail time, first offense. So there, I said it. Anybody else? We can open mics here too. I promise we can let you off the hook early today. We have 2:38 Eastern time. But anybody, good point, Ben. Benjamin Goddard, loss of license. Let's see. I think, Angela, you were referring to, and I apologize, you're referring to the new TIM training, when that gets launched, along with the new tech modules that I think most of you have heard, Paul, Joe, and I, tech modules that were developed as part of the next generation, Everyday Count 6 next generation TIM project. fact sheets that are coming out, and they're going to be available for training purposes in person and online regarding everything from UAS, CAD integration, TMCs, video sharing, etc. All that is right around September, Angela. September, October. Fingers crossed. That's even with our always bad news with public affairs. The delay that our public affairs, process usually involves. So thank you for asking.
Hey, Jim.
Yes, sir.
So I wonder if we could throw out some food for thought for the next couple of Talking Tim webinars. Two topics that we discussed extensively on the EL Executive Leadership Group meeting that we just had today. And one was the National Unified Goal. It's 15 years old this year, the NUG. Responder safety, safe, quick clearance, and prompt, reliable, interoperable communication. I'm not crazy about the third one. I think we should modify that. And there are 18 associated strategies. So I think on the next Talking Tim, we're going to be asking about, what do people think about, getting back to it. Some people use it, fewer and fewer people. We see it, fewer and fewer people. I happen to think that a national goal is a good idea. I think, and we all have that national goal of responder safety, safe, quick clearance, but I think saying it more might help people that are new to the game, are new to the traffic incident management community, help them a little better. So I'm wondering if anybody had any thoughts on that. And the other topic that, Jim, that after you left, I sort of called an audible based on some comments by some of the members that are, the fire community is really upset about how often the struck bys are occurring and their vehicles are getting damaged. And then one of the other the representative from the International Association of Fire Chiefs, it was saying that if you put an order in for a vehicle, the biggest manufacturer of fire trucks isn't even able to accommodate orders because they don't know when they can produce their orders because of the supply chain issues. So here we are getting struck more and more on the highway. We are to the point where this one representative on the ELG said that they're thinking of shutting the road down so they don't get struck, which we know has a whole series of issues, right? There's a whole increased secondary crashes, impacts on congestion, and impacts on other emergencies when you have a region, that's gridlocked because a road is shut down, and all those implications. So I hope we don't get to that, go back to that. But, I think we need to start thinking out of the box of what we can do better. And maybe jail time is one thing, Jim. I don't know if I totally agree, but that, that we have to figure a way out to and I don't have the answer, but I just, as I said in the beginning, food for thought. What can we do so that, the firefighters don't feel that they need to shut the road down, because they're getting struck so often. And we all know it's the D drivers, right? To me, especially distracted driving is the worst, because it's just what I observe more than anything is people on their phones going 75 mile an hour in the high-speed lane. So anyways, a little bit of rambling there, but we might visit these issues in the next couple of Talking Tim, and I wanted to get folks thinking about it now.
Yes, and I'm glad you raised that, Paul. And one of the other things he mentioned was because these apparatus cost, in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, that, is there a way for the DOTs to provide the, switch out a blocking vehicle with a, like a dump truck or something else, some other vehicle. Do you recall him recall that point that he made?
Yeah, I think that's a lot more complicated than the person that brought it
True.
up.
True,
You know,
but
it's just
yeah.
but no, that's a hard discussion that he thinks we should have. That the nation needs to have with other assets, getting other assets out there. He was referring to the state DOTs, but you know, maybe that is the case. But I think we need to, yeah. That is one option. I don't think that's the total option, but yeah, we need to start thinking outside the box as to what we can do to look, you know, yeah.
Exactly. Okay, open mic, open table here, if you will. Anybody have any feedback, any questions for our presenters on any of these presentations today or future presentations? We know you're holding back because you're shy, but we know you're really not shy. 10 people aren't really shy people. We just have to get, make that initial jump and speak up. In the chat pod, Joe, did I miss anything?
No, I'm skipping it. Just discussion on, fines and penalties, and keep fines and penalties that have been implemented, but when it goes to court, it winds up being adjudicated one way or another, but not in the favor of the responder usually. So, it all goes into that big circle. We can write laws, we can issue fines, but is that really what we need to have happen?
Yeah.
If it goes to court and gets thrown out, well, it's not that's not much reinforcement, if you would. But there's the discussion on leading and lagging indicators. When there is an incident, and if it's just I shouldn't say but maybe it's equipment damaged. It's an engine that's got struck broadside at the scene, or someone ran into something. We know that law enforcement conducts a criminal investigation, if you would, or a traffic law violation investigation, if you would, and the departments that are involved, have personnel or equipment involved. They initiate an internal safety investigation, and it would be interesting to see what the direct and indirect costs and effects, what unsafe conditions and what unsafe acts were committed, and begin to build maybe a bigger picture to reinforce what we're already doing, or to maybe signal that it's time to maybe change direction a little bit in the things we're doing. Because we know for sure, unfortunately, that there never is it 100% perfect scenario out there. So if we could learn from maybe the blocking system wasn't set up properly, maybe not enough folks were there, maybe an individual stepped out of the safety zone inadvertently into passing traffic and was struck. There are so many different indicators that we could take and learn from. So I know that's a tough nut to crack, to be able to get into or find results of internal safety investigations, personal injury accident, excuse the word, but that's what they call it, investigations, and and be able to see what's we see the tip of the iceberg. That's the fatalities. We see that clearly, but what lies below the surface of the water, I firmly believe, is a lesson for us, just awaiting to be had, so that we can see the rest of the picture and get a clearer vision on what it is that's actually taking place out there, and as opposed to maybe what's being taught, and are all the policies and procedures working, and have they been modified, or are they being ignored? So sorry to ramble on, but I just know there's more to the picture, and it's a tough nut to crack in our world with so many different disciplines, but there's certainly more to be seen and to be learned.
Yeah. Well said, Joe. I have another question, kind of in the same vein as Paul was mentioning to our audience. We're still just under 100 attendees that have stayed with us. I have a question regarding, in your state, if you could email one of us or all of us, but my question pertains to commercial motor vehicle inspections. When a motor carrier inspector, police officer in your state pulls over a CMV, are they doing the inspections 100% of the time right there on the side of the road on the shoulder, or are they moving, or telling the CMV operator, whether it's a tractor trailer, dump truck, school bus, whatever it is, tour bus, to an off-road location where they can perform the safety inspection without causing, without risk, greatly diminishing the risk to the police officer and the driver, as well as the motorists that are going to be rubbernecking, et cetera, et cetera. It kind of out of the blue question that I thought I might ask this community. So if you're doing that, could give me a call or send an email to one of us. We would sincerely appreciate it. Okay, so we're at 2:51 Eastern time, and I guess we're going to give you back a few minutes here. So, on the behalf of the U.S. DOT, Federal Highway Administration, TIM program, Paul, Joe, and I, we want to thank you for joining us today. We want to thank all our presenters sincerely for your sharing and taking the time, and for sure the National Operations Center of Excellence, where there is a ton of resources for you. So take advantage of that. Thank you to Adam Hops and Kevin Vita. And we will see you next month for another exciting Talking TIM webinar. So thank you, stay safe, and God bless.